is our song. Ndene ebeka mwanyi mwoke hamadike Nandi Okukalo no Yako mwanyi nine na la Biafra babu buru na chono batita Ebeka onu dosara Nandi Okukalo Odindo Bopotara ni hanya I to remember mwanyi no want to see our song. Oh, chukwu kikabiyama Ndibo to really see Aso kateze anya Eburu kata n'isi gwa yo oge ahụ eruola ma anyị ga-ejipụta n'igwe wee nara ihe ahụ nke ruru anyị ọ pụtara na anyị nwa anyị we need our song. Bring out our song. Bịa nụrụla anyị chukwu okike abịa ekwela ka ihere ma
Therefore, Biafra must be restored, for there is nothing the enemies can do about it. We have come that the will of the Most High may prevail. Radio Biafra is unorthodox. The way we do things are markedly different from how others do it. We are under divine instruction. We have come that Chukwokika Biama may take control of these very proceedings this evening, for we are nothing without him. O Elohim, Chukwokika Biama Purimi Henine, unto thee we repose all that we are. Do not allow your children IPOB to be put to shame. Do not allow us to be devoured by the hands of the wicked. Do not allow us, O mighty one, to fall prey to those who do not know thee. You will deliver us, not because we are righteous, but because of your mercy. Hear our cry and our supplication. We are not armed. We have not killed anyone. We have not jailed anyone. We have not done anything at all to warrant the level of destruction and carnage being visited upon your children. The same way Israel suffered, so is Biafra suffering today. And if you, Elohim, can deliver Israel, so will you deliver Biafra. That is our hope. That is our anchor of everything that we hold dear as a race and as a people. You brought Biafra that light may come into Africa. You gave us hope because we are in a continent of hopelessness. And by thy grace, Biafra shall be restored. We shall be resurrected. We shall crown our efforts with the glory by the grace of the Most High himself. We are not strong. We do not pretend to be strong. All we do is to submit ourselves to your will, that your will may be done upon our lives. We have lost many people. We have lost so many good people. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. We shall honor them, and for their sake Biafra will come. Israel lost people, and today Israel is here as a beacon of hope in a land filled with darkness. We beseech thee, O Elohim, because we are wandering all over the world, hoping against every hope that things will turn around for the better. It has never turned around for the better. Instead, it is getting worse. Please do not abandon your children. You have given us a commission, and we must accomplish it in our lifetime. We have come to honor your holy name. We have come to praise thee. We have come to honor thee. Praised ever and ever. He said,
Nande Kano, Odobundi Mozina Baloko.
Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu n'ogwelibe gbalụ Jehova ya lee eyi Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu ọ ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-ekwuzi okwu ike eyi Nnamdi Kanu odogwu bili eze ndị Igbo gburugburu Nnamdi Kanu ọchịagha ụmụ Igbo odogwu Biafra bili odogwu ndị mozi na-agbala ọkụ eziokwu n'enu wee sikanụ n'enu ụwa n'osi na chi ya dị mma mgbe mbụ ka sị na nwaeze enwela nwa mana tata na nwaeze enwegokwa nwa mgbe mbụ ka sị na Igbo enwela eze mana tata na anyị bụ Igbo anyị enweghị ezenu Nnamdi Nnọbụnya bụ eze ndị Igbo eziokwu n'enu ụwa ebuka eziokwu n'enu ụwa siri ikenu eziokwu n'enu ụwa esikanụ ọkwa ịma na onye na-achọ onye aka ya dị ọcha na ọchụgide onye n'enu ụwa chụja n'ụwa ọmanụ o ji ife nwata wonye aka ihenu aka lobeghị ilo n'oge wetu ya n'enu ụwa nụ ife Nnamdi na-ekwu n'enu ụwa nụ n'ọbụ ka oge si dịrị n'ụmụ Igbo mmanụ titi eji wee nwee Naijiria na ndị Igbo n'enu ụwa na pachibelo Naijiria ife a na-eme anyị bụ getaway come closer onye ọbụla n'enu ụwa na-atụ ala ili niile n'ụwa bọọlụ onye Igbo iche ọchịchị na bọọlụ gwa m ife ga-eme n'enu ụwa ka emezie n'enu ụwa wee metụ ụwa mma n'ọkwa bụ ndị Igbo bụ nsogbu anyị nwelu na anyị bụ ndị Igbo na anyị na-agbazi onwe anyị mgba gwa m ife ga-eme metụ ụwa mmanụ gwazie m ife ga-eme wee metụ ụwa mma Nnamdi na o nwere okwu nchọla ịgwa anyị ichefugo na nwaeze adịghị efu na mbanụ n'ọkwa na nwaeze ka ebụnụ maka na ama m n'ọchịchị lụrụ ya ibe nna ya iwere pụ ọchịchị lụrụ ibe nna ya iwe pụta ka ịzọpụta ụmụ Igbo nụ ụmụ Igbo afọ na ị ga-azọpụta fa eziokwu na o nwere ife ga-eme gị n'ụwa ị ga-adị ka echi maka na ama m na echi n'ọdụ agwagwọ ndụ gị ga-adị n'afịa naanị izu na anọ eke n'olie na afọ na nkwọ ka ndụ gị ga-adịnụ onye chụba gị na ọ ga-ada mmiri ọchụ nwa ọkụkọ nne n'ụwa ya nwada nwa ọkụkọ nne n'ụwa nwee ngwongwo nsọ Nnamdi na mmeli bụ nke anyị omemma melu gaba n'ilu ome njọ melu n'ụwa gaba n'ilu agbasi ọsọ n'ụwa na-aga agụlili maịlụ maka na emesịa n'ụwa malụ ndị bụ ndị aka Chukwu na ọ dị gị n'alụ Nwachukwu na mmesịa mmeli bụ nke anyị Nnamdi Kanu odogwu bili eze ndị Igbo gburugburu Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu ogwele ife gbalụ Jehova ya lee eyi Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu ọ ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-ekwuzi okwu ike eyi Nnamdi Kanu ọchịagha ụmụ Igbo odogwu Biafra bili odogwu ndị mozi na-agbala ọkụ sumudu eziokwu na alili na-egbu m ụmụnne m na alili na-apịawa mazụ onye Igbo wee gụsị akwụkwọ nụ na inweta ọlụ na Naijiria na ọbụzi ọlụnụ na anya pasi lọ ife ọbụla na ịlụ na amị na Naijiria na ọbụzi nsogbu ịlụ na polisi bụ ọlụ inye ndị Igbo ọlụ n'ọkwa nsogbu gwa m ibe a ga-eme n'ụwa ka wee metanụ ndị Naijiria mmanụ ife anyị nwe ka na-akọla anyị na mmanụ anyị ka Naijiria ji dị ebube. Mineral and resources anyị nwere une n'ụwa n'ọya ka Naijiria si wee dị ebube. Ma ndị nwe ife na-aga ụlọ na-emelụ falụ, ndị nwe ife na-aga ụlọ na-apịawa afọ azụ. Chukwu ka na-ekwuriri okwunu, ndị eluigwe ka na-ekwu okwunu, basi na-emesịa na anyị ga-enwe mmelinu.
Good morning, fellow comrades and lovers of freedom. Regardless where you're listening to the sound of my voice, it might be your afternoon, it might be your night. But this is morning here in United Kingdom. It's 17 minutes on top of the hour here in UK, North London to be precise, and this is Biafra Radio. Today is another day, and is a day that is significant in our lives. Today, we are getting a report directly on spot account from Federal High Court Abuja. And as you all know, today is going to be the bail application. They're going to hear that today. So, my name is Mazi Umeh. I reside here in UK as one of the principal servants and the host of Biafra Radio. And this morning and afternoon in Biafra land is 18 minutes on top of 12 p.m. in Biafra land, in the Holy Land of Biafra. And today, Chukwuka Biama will take proceedings because our hands are clean, our leader has done nothing, but we shall follow them. And that is exactly what we are doing. Our legal team have prepared, and it's going to be a marathon because it's the 2 days as we are getting to the bail application hearing today. Tomorrow, 28th, is going to be the commencement of the substantial trial. Onyendu have committed no crime against humanity committed against our leader by extraordinary rendition, kidnapping him in Kenya, and extraordinary rendition him in zoo, and everybody knows what has happened. But today we are going to giving you the on-spot account on what is going on in Abuja itself, and I'm going to bring our man on the ground into the studio for him to start giving us what is happening. Lawman, if you can hear me, good morning from here. And please, you can tell Biafrans what the scenario and the atmosphere down there in Abuja this morning. Please, Lawman, if you can hear me.
Yeah, thank you very much, MaziUmeh. A very good afternoon to you from here. And the time now is 19 minutes past the hour of 12 in the Federal High Court, Abuja. So we are here today. The business of today is slated for the final ruling of the bail application of the leader of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. So today we are expectant, we are hopeful that we are going to go home with our leader, and the substantive trial, so to speak, would commence afterwards. During the last adjourned date, the Defense Counsel, courtesy of Barrister Loy Ejimako, had submitted applications with a lot of affidavits supporting same why our leader should be granted bail. So the application was entered, was also absorbed, and the prosecution responded as well. So today we are looking forward to hearing from the Justice Binta Nyako, who is presiding, or who has been presiding over this matter ab initio in the federal peripheries before the matter had gone to the Supreme Court. You know, there has been a relay, upshot of relays of trial from the Federal High Court to the Appeal Court to the Supreme Court, forth and back. And that's to tell you one thing, that there is, it's just like proceeding in a vacuum, where there is no light, where there is no what have you, because nothing can exist therein. So that is why they are marking time. That is why it seems, keeping themselves busy, moving forward, but at one place. Howbeit at the expense of leaders, good health and everything, because he has been there since 2021, June 2021, up until this time, and nothing has been made of everything. The legal battles are defense team. The defense team has fought in Abia State, Umuahia, in the Federal High Court, in Appeal Court, and so on and so forth. So in order not to inundate our people with all of this, because I believe we all know, have been in the know before this time. So today the court is seated, and the business of today first is to round off the bail application and see to it the conditions and whatever. So all of this is embedded and strengthened by Section 36 of the Constitution. So let's see how it goes. We are here en masse. Our people are here as well, although a few persons could only gain entrance to in here in the courtroom, I must say. But may it be known unto us, to people listening, that our leader was, not left behind. He's not left behind till now. People are here in solidarity, and we are expectant, as I said. So thank you very much, Mazi Umeh. Do you have anything, any question from the desk?
Just for clarity's sake, has Onyendu arrived in the court, in the Federal High Court yet, or is he expecting to be there today?
Of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has arrived, and is in court. The court is seated, and the justice has also taken precedence over everything that would happen today, or that has been slated for today. So we keep our fingers crossed, and as we relay everything, events, activities, arguments, and counter-arguments from here to our people.
Okay. That's very precise. Okay, then. So what we will do is we will have to hang on to your anytime you want to come on back on air, you just let me know. So I will have intros and expecting good news to come out, or if they're supposed to be updating us what is happening from right there inside the court. So I will leave that to you. So whenever you want to come on, just signal that to me, then the platform will be yours. Yeah.
Yeah, surely.
Thank you, Mazi Lawman, for your tenacity. Thank you. And that is our man on the ground there. And he's doing a wonderful job, as you can see. And we will continue, like I said, today, because you could see on the screen, today is for the ruling of the bail application, which, as he have rightly said, Onyendu have arrived in court. Our legal team, everything have taken proceedings, and the judge itself has acknowledged all of that. What we are waiting for, the ruling must be done today. And what we are asking for is our leader to come home with us today, as I have done nothing. If he's going to stand a substantive trial, he's not going to do that from DSS dungeon. He has to be given bail first to prepare for whatever allegation they have brought. Any commencement of trial must now start from DSS dungeon. He can't hold a man down at the same time. It's going to be 3 years that our leader has been in solitary confinement for doing nothing, for violating his fundamental human right that even United Nations has arbitrary as well have come out and lend their voice that our leader should be discharged and acquitted, that the crime has committed. And even their own court have told them that he committed no crime. Even the Supreme Court itself acknowledged that his fundamental right has been trampled upon. So all we are saying is very, very precise. We understood all the politics that is going on, but regardless how long they're going to allow this to play, at the end of the day, what matters is that we are going to triumph at the end of this tunnel. Our leader is there. That's what matters. He can't speak. That anybody today is talking about Biafra is detriment of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being in the SS dungeon. There is no other thing you could tell anybody that will prepare the person to pay attention to what you're saying without mentioning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that is the price it has paid. And we all must understand and acknowledge this fact that as we are driving home, one thing is certain, that at the end of this journey, Onyendu said it, one thing is certain, at the end of the journey, that Biafra shall be restored. As I'm going to be back on, I'm going to stay back on studio here. I'm going to find some news to read to you guys. But before then, I just want to allow Barrister Lawyer Jumakor's first interview from BBC. This is credit to BBC Pigeon. You know, when Onyendu was brought to the zoo. So we just listen to that particular interview from BBC and Maswell as well. Barrister Maswell went to Europe for human rights, convention. So I just want you to hear them on this audio, and as we continue, that will be an intro as we are expecting good news down there from Federal High Court Abuja. Stay tuned.
Thank you for your time with us today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Make I just start by asking this question. You don't see Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. And we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially, and later on he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions, but most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete.
You could describe to us when you see Nnamdi Kanu, how he be, what's in state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. You know, if you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was. He said it was where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. He appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized, so he's unwilling to talk about one or two things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew. How many nights he spent in Abuja.
Is he afraid?
No, he's not. He's traumatized.
You could tell us more about waiting happened, because you just mentioned Kenya, and Kenyan government don't come out to talk, say they no arrest Nnamdi Kanu for Kenya. So tell us more about this.
What happened is this. Mazi Umeh entered Kenya, I believe, on a certain date, right around April this year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to establish the actual date of entry. But I have documentation from a Kenyan hospital that placed him in Kenya as of 14th April this year, 14th May. So he entered Kenya.
And what did they do for Kenya hospital?
He went there because he had issues with his heart. He felt he wasn't well. So he went there, he was examined, and the diagnosis was hypertension and heart murmur. They made prescriptions for him, and my examination of the medical report indicated medications for heart and controlling blood pressure. So apparently he entered Kenya before the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at a location in Nairobi, a temporary location, and he entered with his passport. That day, on the fateful day, that was on I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, certain, 100%. He drove himself to the airport from his temporary location. in Kenya. He drove to Jomo Kenyatta International and went into the garage, the underground garage, to pick up a visitor flying in from outside. Okay, that is not necessary for this discussion, the identity or whatever. So the moment he got into the parking lot, the garage, a group of several men, well armed to the teeth.
And this now waiting Nnamdi Kanu tell you about what you remember of what happened before they bring him to Nigeria.
This is what he told me, and his recollection of this was very, very lucid and clear.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so now they swooped on him. They gathered and grabbed him, okay, in a very physical, rough way, and he raised the lamb. Luckily for him, there were a few people that were there, and the people wanted to intervene in terms of really very aggressive intervention, because to them, I asked him why they would consider making an aggressive intervention when something that seemed law enforcement was happening. He said perhaps they didn't believe it was normal. So the people that were abducting him told everybody to stay clear, that this person you're looking at is a Nigerian terrorist who assists the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. They grabbed him, put him in their car, and left, and took him to a private residence, not an official detention facility, where they chained him to the floor for most of the 8 days he spent there, and they really tortured him, thinking it was Al-Shabaab. So he kept telling them he wasn't Al-Shabaab. He had nothing to do with Al-Shabaab. He kept telling them who he was.
Who be these people?
Well, I asked him who they are. He told me they are Kenyan security officials. I asked him why. He said the insignia, the carriage, that he had arrived Kenya, so he had a bit knowledge of the terrain and how the law enforcement functions and the sort of things they wear, how, you know, that they were brazen with weapons openly. It couldn't have been private parties or, you know, some rogue agents doing that. He told me that the thing has a 100% degree of officialdom to it. So they took him to that location, and they were torturing him, and I'm sorry to say they really beat him a lot. So, but at some point when he was trying to explain himself, he told me he was blindfolded most of the time, chained to the floor, bare floor.
But the Kenyan government don't clearly talk, say they don't get hand for this, and they don't arrest Nnamdi Kanu for the ground. And also the federal government never come out to talk anything about where your client, where they arrest your client from.
Okay. You see, it's not going to be a question of he said, she said. I'm a lawyer. I operate on the basis of independent and credible evidence. The Kenyan High Commissioner might have sounded credible to the general public, but the information available to me can impeach every single word she uttered, including the denial that came from the home government. I have immigration stamp placing Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya just 2 months before his abduction. I have medical evidence placing him at a Kenyan hospital. Okay? And I have his own word. He's a man of sound mind.
And waiting your client, Nnamdi Kanu, tell you about how they move him from Kenya, as you talk, say tell you, to Nigeria.
Him. Yes. You see, he said on the fateful day, that was the 27th on Sunday, 27 June, they drove him in a car to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, blindfolded him, and bundled him inside a private jet, like a Lear jet. I asked him if it's a Boeing 777, so whatever, or Airbus, the big ships. He said no, it's a normal private jet that you often would see some people owning private jet, that kind of size. And he was the lone passenger in that jet, in that plane, and he didn't clear immigration. They drove him straight, on the tarmac, straight to the plane and very close to the plane, and put him inside the plane with Nigerian security officials, and left about 12 noon in the afternoon, and landed Nigeria same day in the evening, around something after 4 or to 5.
Make we talk about the trial where go begin again on the 26th of July. Yes. How prepared una dey for that trial?
Well, We are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and in some jurisdictions, is a capital offense. When state does it, it's called extraordinary rendition. That's what happened. So if you rendered or you renditioned a fugitive or a suspect, you have lost jurisdiction to try that suspect because you committed an international crime. You broke your own laws. You broke the laws of the third state from which territory you renditioned that individual. And you broke the laws of the second state of nationality of that individual. That is what is playing out here, because we have three divergent but also compliant jurisdictions. The three jurisdictions here, Nigeria, Kenya, and UK, their laws prohibit extraordinary rendition.
Okay, so they've been calls don't come from different quarters, from different groups, say the federal government must handle this case on the fair note, that the trial must happen, Nnamdi Kanu trial must happen on a fair note. Does this make you optimistic?
Fair trial?
That Nnamdi Kanu must have a fair trial?
You see, it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction to say that a jurisdiction that broke the laws of three countries and the international law, that's the fourth component, to bring a suspect before that jurisdiction should be expected to give fair trial to such individual. But like I said, we haven't even gotten to that bridge yet. When we get to the bridge of whether he's going to get fair trial or not, we are going to ventilate it. The bridge we have to cross first is the bridge of testing the impact of the jurisdiction of Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu for any criminal offenses stemming from the extraordinary rendition.
Across various countries of the world. So, and I sent in my complaint from Nigeria. After looking at my complaint and what I have, so they decided to invite me and also asked me to come and present a paper from Nigerian side. I forwarded my 32 pages of submissions as it has to do with human rights in Nigeria, and we started. The conference is taking place in 4 selected countries of Europe. That's in France, in Germany, here, Belgium, and Sweden. So we started on the 26th. We are done with Paris, France. I came in here a couple of days ago in Germany. So we are rounding off in Germany at Bonn University. We are rounding off this afternoon. Then we now move to Belgium. From Belgium, we now move to Sweden. Then and we round it up in there in Sweden. So we are making a progress. According to, just like as I told you in my 32 pages paper, which has to do with critical insights affecting human rights in Nigeria, ranging from intimidation of voters during election, involvement of security agencies in rigging election, and the general and electoral fraud generally, and the president appointment, marginalizing other region and his appointments, which contravenes various provisions of our laws, and among all the corruption and the looting of public funds by majority of our political leaders and politicians, and absence of rule of law, and the inability of the president to govern the country in line with the law. So these are the issues, and disobedience of court order, unlawful detention. Just like as I told you the other day, I have court orders, court judgment against the DSSS, asking them to release my clients. We served them all these orders since last year up to now. The DSSS refused to comply. My clients are all in their detention. So these are the issues that we presented and order that it should be released. They now refer the matter back to Federal High Court to start trial again and to start application for bail again. I have never seen this kind. They have turned Nigerian jurisprudence upside down. Now we are in court. We have made application for bail. They have given it on the 19th to rule on it. So that one is on that. Then on the issue of Ohanese, they are not doing anything. You know. If they tell you that they are doing anything, that thing they are doing, they will call it window dressing. I that the more you look, the less you see, so that it will be as if they are talking. If Ohanese is talking, Ohanese is the senators from Southeast are under what do you call it? Are under Ohanese. The governors in the Southeast are under Ohanese. So now you begin to ask yourself, what has these people done? Because upon your inauguration, you're supposed to go, the both of you in the Senate, political leaders, religious leaders, and this, you can't meet Tinubu. Say, my brother, please, we are talking about security in the Southeast. Can we release this guy? This one is causing trouble. He said that it's for Nandekalo. This one is ordering for a sit at home. He said that it's for Nandekalo. This one, why not releasing Nandekalo to address all these issues? What has Nandekalo, what offense has Nandekalo committed?
All right.
Somebody that exercising his rights of for self-determination. Asking you that since you said that I don't belong to Nigeria by your conduct, allow me to go. Instead of it to address all those issues, now you started attacking the innocent, intelligent, handsome.
All right, so we'll come back to
it doesn't work like that.
Okay, a point made on that. So let's go back to why you are outside the country now, and what outcomes are you expecting from these your meetings, and how implementable will they be?
Well, the only one. Every other, just like you said, every other country with their own peculiar problem, which is normal. But our own is on the high side, because when I begin to marshal out our own, so ranging from court or disobedience of court orders, ranging from unlawful detention and arrest, ranging from inability of government to comply with the law. The law said before you say Maxwell, this is what you will do. You decided to go and say Maxwell to start following the law. They discovered that our own, they don't even know where to start. So at the end of all these issues now, there will be a communique. I hear them saying, which they will, there are some things that I will not say on air. The way they implement it, I won't say it on air. But at least it will go a long way of letting our leaders to know that whatever thing that you are doing, you are being monitored. Whatever thing that you are doing, your children are in Europe, your children are in Asia, your children are in America. So you cannot destroy University of Lagos, University of Nigeria, University of Port Harcourt, University of Calabar. You are ABU Zaria now. You now send their own children here in Germany, there in America. Question. In fact, I was even surprised that Sunday when they begin to mention the leaders and where their children are, where their children are schooling. Is there in Europe? You discover that these people are not laughing, for Christ's sake. So the earlier they get it right, the better. So let them stop attacking.
Mothers, where is our son? Ndenne, ebe ka nwanyi nwoke Hamadike, Nnamdi Okwuka no. Ya ko ụmụ nwaanyị niile na ala Biafra babu gburu na achọ n'ụbọchị taa. Ebe ka unu dosara Nnamdi Okwuka ọ dị ndụ gbọpụtara na ya. Anyị chọrọ ime ebe nwaanyị nọ, we want to see.
Yeah, this is still Biafra Radio. This is our leader. This is a short clip of our leader arriving in court today, greeting the clergies and the dignitaries that came to see him. It's a wonderful time to see him still looking strong, even though his internal illness we all understood. And our lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako, is there as well. We all understand. This is our leader. This is a short clip, and I know he's in the social media, but this is to attest that Onyendu, and he's still wearing the same Fendi. And keep on protesting, because this is what we are talking about: doggedness and tenacity. And all we are asking is to give us a day for referendum. Our leader has not committed any crime that are known to any man. But it's a good thing that today again is another bright day, that he is there hugging the people that came to show solidarity to him and entire Biafra, because it's not only facing trial or facing, all these tribulations is Biafrans. So all these pains that he's going through, he's not going through it because he chose to. He said it over time, that he was born for this. And I keep on saying it, that if Onyendu for any paraventure tonight said, as he's standing there, he only need to say, I'm tired. The Nigerian government will give him whatever he wants. And all of us will start murmuring. This goes on to all of us that are out there misbehaving. And thinking that to restore Biafra is a wishful thinking. There's a process in everything. If it was like that, the whole world wouldn't be on a flame. Look at Ukraine. Even though this is a proxy war by the fifth colonies, we understood what is going on, but it's none of our problem. We are focusing on what our demands are. And the one good thing and blessing that we have, that God gave us somebody that have sacrificed everything. I was talking to someone this morning and I said, our internal leader did it all because he sacrificed everything he had with his parent money to fight for Biafra in 1770. But Mazi Umeh have surpassed every human being that walk on this earth by far, because money cannot buy life. Two parents have gone into the 6 feet deep because of this one cause, to restore our dignity. I want to let you understand that there's so many things. Onyendu said that the emergence of Biafra will be the restoration of a black race. Last night I was talking to my other son. There's something he said, and I have to let him know. Even when we talk about slavery, there's no empathy. We have to take responsibility. Even if we go to the slavery days, we as a black people, have we accepted that we play a part on slavery? I don't want my child growing up in UK thinking that, oh, white men came to Africa and stole black people. I don't think it's right. Even though the both party played, the kids are asking questions. This is why we are fighting for Biafra. It's not because of we want to have a position in IPOB. No. The reason why we have abandoned everything and focus on this, because we have to restore our dignity as a race. We have no homeland. Every other race in this world have a land. We don't, as a black race. We are just hovering around. In UK here, the Asians have came here, they build their own community. Black people, we still segregating. The segregation is more vast among black people. The racism is more vast among black people. Very, very important that we understand this fact. But our leader have came. That's why IPOB detox all of us. We must not dabble into any ethnicity or any nepotism. All these things, you have to be detoxed from it. We don't need all of this. We must focus on one thing, and that thing is to restore our dignity. And restoration of Biafra will bring the light, because it's the light. So as we are here waiting, and our man on the ground is still there. And anytime he indicates to come on the stage, we will give him the platform, because that is why we are here. I will say a little. Like I said, this is our leader arriving in the court today and hugging the clergies and our elders there, showing solidarity, and our lead counsel and the family members, Meme's wife, they're always there. That is why some of you will come out and say ill things about this family. May Chukwu Biama forgive you and your generation, but I don't think it's going to happen, because we all need to listen and look. Common sense tells you those that have put in their life, in their resources, in everything they do. 2015, every day, Meme is in the morning Abuja to Umuahia. And some of you would think if it was because of anything materialistic, they will allow their two parents to die because of what? Give me one reason why. Tell me why. Mazi Umeh has been suffering in DSS. His kids are here in UK. They have not seen their dad for over getting to 3 years now. You woke up with your kids, take them to school, eat dinner with them, and they shout and they love Mazi and kind of, but the little stuff he's saying you must do, you wouldn't do it. You question his integrity. But none of you will take that bullet. What I'm saying here is very, very important that we all now start to think home. But don't some of you that doubted Onyendu, because Onyendu can cut a deal. I keep on, as we are talking now in that court, he's just trying to say, just to utter it out and everything is finished. Because we know the hardcore Biafrans understood who our leader was and who he still is. And nothing has changed from that perspective. And that's why we are doing what we are doing. We will abandon everything abandonable to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi can have the support he requires. It's not a multitude. He said it's 100 men and women with clean heart. And that's the era we are in. So my word to you and anyone, anywhere, when you say if you know what to do to restore Biafra, do it. And if you know what to do to make sure that Biafra does not come. So tomorrow you wouldn't say, oh, I shouldn't have. No. That is why do your part and leave the rest to God to handle it as he's there now, still sojourning on. Not showing any sign of deterred, not showing any sign of weakness, but he's focused on one thing only. Madiba spent 27 years in South Africa, in Northern Ireland, to get the part of his people, and that is where they are riding upon today. Malema today on EFF, they are sojourning on even from the winning. Those people today driven their force from that singular prize. That is why we must never speak ill about our internal leader, regardless of his flaws, because no man is perfect, because you cannot afford to sacrifice anything. Even some of you are counting peanuts that you have given in IPOB and questioning people, but forgetting those that have died in cause of this struggle. There's nothing can bring them back. It doesn't matter how much you don't, even if you put the whole one in the world, can't bring none of these individuals back. If you sit down and sober reflection, ask yourself a fundamental question: why did I join IPOB in the first place? Why did IPOB become the movement of the grassroots that never anywhere in the world? But some of you came through the back door to destroy something you cannot. To destroy is very simple, but to build is the most difficult thing on earth. But I'm indulging you to this morning, and afternoon, and morning, wherever you are. This is the time for sober reflection. When you look at our leader in court, this is the second time he's appearing. And for your information, we are going to be here tomorrow. The substantial trial, but only you have to first of all get his bail before we can now prepare for any trial, if need be. That's why I played our lead counsel, a lawyer, Jimako's first interview with BBC Pidgin, where he analytically tells the world the position of this whole shenanigan that is going on now. We understand is political. Our leader is a political prisoner, but they're trying to subdue him for him to give in to what they want him to do. And some of you that is out here comfortably have compromised, but he's still there. As you can see him, look at him again. I'll show you when you do again. This is him arriving in court, still humble. To you to be a leader, it must be meek. And that is why our leader taught us in IPOB, regardless what you know. Onyendu say, I want the brains of the grassroots. Those that didn't even go to school. That's some of you question, oh, this person didn't go to school. Some of you that went to school, that read another man's ideology. What have you got to offer to us? Now we are looking. It's not shouting that makes any difference. It's what you can withstand. When the breeze comes, can you stand it? And that is where we are at the moment. And may Chukwu Kabiama continue to bless our leader, to bless the family of Okukano Ugeze. That womb shall be blessed. Everything, this family remember the redemption of Brackways. I don't care what anybody says. This is my own perspective. This is my own opinion. And it has been proven. They are still there. As you can see in the courtroom, where are those people claiming my leader? Where are they? Who are there? That's the family members. And these people that are pure, that came to show solidarity. People oppose that Onyendu will not appear. You believe in the ruling they rule in the Supreme Court. And what is he going to give us? How is he going to get Mazi Nnamdi out? If you people are not the people that hold Onyendu through the back door. But let me say this to you, that Chukwu Kabiama is beyond every of your evil plot against Onyendo. Those that have witch Mazi Nnamdi Kanu death, I think you can see Onyendo walking. He's still alive. Anyway, I'm going to still go intro and still waiting for our man on the ground. I will play this particular audio again, and I will give the credit to the coalition. You know, these coalitions for release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I have to play their video because I think, and a disclaimer to it, we don't own that video, but we need to play it regardless of our one people. This is for educational purposes. Very, very important.
On behalf of Ambassador for Self-Determination, I'd like to welcome you to this gathering, which we're gathered today to support the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So let's watch this video.
Putin killed Navalny because Navalny was the one opposition leader in Russia that Putin feared the most. So this is a really tragic day for me, and it should be a tragic day for anybody who cares about democracy. You know, remember, he went back to Russia. He didn't have to go back. He went back for his country because he was a patriot that believed that his country could be different. I put him in the same ranks as the Navalny of Mandela and Valensa and Havel, but with one tragic difference now. Navalny is dead.
This particular clip, I was watching that, was a Friday morning when we got the news of Alexei Navalny's death. And obviously, the thing that came to mind, I didn't know much about Alexei, but this says it all, because he was under Vladimir Putin's thumb. First, I started to see the resemblance between his situation and Mazi Kanu's situation.
Yes, I'm just going to be giving you updates as we get in the proceedings. You know, we are getting a direct update from the proceeding in the court. As it stands right now, the proceedings has begun at 12:21 p.m. on the zoo time. And the presiding Justice Binta Yaku putting her papers together, gave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyer, lead counsel Alej Mako and Co. a brief moment to have their time. So as we speak, it is ongoing, and as it goes, we'll be bringing it to you as the proceeding continues. Whatever is transpired there is what we'll be giving you. This is a very, very precise, on-spot account. So this is where we are at the moment. The proceedings that have just started on 12:21 p.m. there in the zoo time, Federal Territory, Abuja. So we're bringing it to you as we get these reports.
As the head of state tried to poison this gentleman, and then he recovered from that. The Nigerian government tried to kill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he survived and escaped. Navalny returned to Russia. He was immediately arrested and put in jail, solitary confinement. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was minding his own business in Kenya when he was illegally abducted, renditioned to Nigeria, and put in jail, solitary confinement. Same situation. Anybody that cares about democracy, the first thing that comes to mind is not to let Mazi Nnamdi Kanu fate become what we just saw. And that's what got me excited. We've been quietly trying to get a coalition of people to actually demand his release, but it's been difficult. But this particular example really made me realize that if anyone has anything that they can contribute towards this man's release, to do it now. Those of you who don't know about Mazi Kanu, I'm going to invite Ben to sort of give us a little glimpse as to who he is and why he's doing what he's doing and why all of us should demand collectively and individually for his immediate and unconditional release.
Well, today is a sad day in Nigeria because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu remains in solitary confinement as of today. He has been in solitary confinement since June of 2021. Like Evans rightfully said, he was kidnapped from Kenya, minding his own business. But the fact is, this was not the first time he was kidnapped. He was first kidnapped in 2015 in Nigeria, and he was locked up for 2 years. And later on, he was released. And then there is a failed assassination of Mazi Umeh in his own home in Abia State. And miraculously, he escaped that very assassination only by God's grace. So he's alive today. But I want everybody to know, any day Mazi Umeh remains in solitary confinement is another day of violation of his fundamental right as a human being, as a father, as a husband, and as a community leader. There is no reason why he should be in prison today, if not for the sake of others. He wasn't fighting for his own, he wasn't fighting for his family, he wasn't fighting in the name of the Kano community. He was fighting for the interests of all. So I believe there's a video that we're gonna show you so you can get a taste, a glimpse of some of the things that took place that really, made Mazi Umeh to come out in public and began to openly call for the freedom of our people. But before then, there's something happened. You're gonna see a different Mazi Umeh back in 2013 in Europe. He wasn't campaigning for Biafra. He was not agitating for the freedom of Biafra. He was actually agitating for Nigeria to get better, for the government to take note of the suffering of the masses and do something. Do something so that everybody will benefit, with no mention of Biafra, until Nigeria failed him, and it was crystal clear that this country is not going anywhere. They're not going to listen. They don't care about their people. Well, if you don't care about Nigerian citizens, I'm going to care about my people. That's when he began to talk about Biafra, to talk about separating from Nigeria, so that every region can develop, at their own pace. So you can make policy and rules that will benefit your people because you know your people. Because there's nothing that holding Nigeria together. It's 3 nations put together to be 1 nation, and nothing worked. Nothing ever worked, nothing is working, and it will never work. So I want to show that video while he was in London talking about the situation in Nigeria.
This is why we're here today, is to protest the killing of innocent women and children. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the international community for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
The Nigerian government has its own way of dealing with peaceful gatherings it doesn't like. The day began with a gathering of people come to pray for the release from prison of one of their leaders.
Provide us some evidence that IPOB's a terrorist group. More than 2 years later, still zero. You can't make free speech and freedom of association terrorism. Every single day that he languishes in that solitary confinement is another crime against humanity.
The protest that you saw, where you saw the army shooting people, innocent, unarmed citizens, that took place in 2016. Okay, our people came together, as they have done several years before, okay, to honor their fallen heroes, those that fell in the Biafra Nigerian Civil War of 1967 through 1970. So they gathered, this is a high school. They were not on the street protesting. No. They were not in front of the House of Assembly with placard protesting. No. They were not marching or causing insurrection anywhere. No. They were in a particular place. You have to go through a gate to come into the school premises. That's where they gathered. And that's where the combined forces of Nigerian Army, Air Force, Navy, DSS came in there, took a combat position on the ground, and opened a live ammunition. And at the end of the day, they murdered over 150 young men and women. 150 young men and women. And this was reported by Amnesty International. It was all over the globe. And to make matters worse, they took their body and dumped them in a mass grave where they poured acid on these children so they become irrecognizable. So how could somebody tell me or convince anybody that this is a viable nation that would work for everyone? These are the atrocities that led to the debut of the person of Mazi Umeh that you hear today. And this young man requested for things to get better, build schools, build roads and bridges, build hospitals, so that our women will have a place they can go and receive a proper medical attention. Build recreational centers, build factories, so as young men and women are graduating from school, they have a place where they can be gainfully employed. They don't want to do any of this. But this country will spend money from the oil revenue to import terrorists from all over the world. Right now, there are more than 5 terrorist groups that operate in the country today. Ansaru is in Nigeria. El-Shabaab is in Nigeria. Mieti Allah operates in Nigeria. Fulani bandits operate in Nigeria. Fulani herders that have been named the 4th deadliest terrorist group in the world by the Global Terrorist Watch of West Africa. These terrorist groups operate in Nigeria. And the government of Nigeria provides an enabling environment for them to thrive, for them to do their bidding. They provide them with logistics, money, arms, and then they send them to the eastern region of Nigeria to kill my people and to destabilize the region. That is their goal. And that's exactly what they're doing now. These are the things that brought out Mazi Umeh. If the country was working, you may not know who Mazi Umeh is. It wasn't working. And it's never going to work. Not the way the country is presently constituted. When he was out, people say you're calling for war, you want to war, you're causing problems. You know, he said, no. I'm not causing problem. I'm just asking our government, the government to do the right thing by the people. So I'm going to stop here, and you can hear his goals and aspiration.
You're not talking about a federation when you say a confederation. You're not talking about a federation as part of Nigeria. You're talking about total independence.
Absolute independence.
Complete independence. Now, is there anything that can happen that will make you change your mind about this particular direction?
No.
So it is either Biafra or nothing else.
Or death, yes.
or death.
That's correct.
If push comes to shove,
Yes.
will you go to war?
No, because truth is a far more potent and deadlier weapon than bullets and mortars.
So no war. You've ruled out the
Absolutely,
of
I'm
war.
not with war. No war.
Well, we're going to invite Attorney Jesse to educate us a bit on the legal aspect of the whole thing where we are today. Brother Jesse, thank you, brother. There you go.
So, I'm a construction lawyer, and the only time I ever get called on to engage any sort of criminal law is if a client's son or daughter gets in trouble in college. But even
This is still Biafra Radio as we still on the court proceeding between the zoo, between Nigeria and Biafra as the proceedings are still going on. So I'm just keeping you guys on our bay as we're watching up these clips. And if we get any information, we'll be passing it on to our people until everything is done. We are waiting patiently as he may. So I'll continue watching.
construction lawyer knows when something's wrong from a criminal standpoint, and there are just so many wrongs involved with these timelines. And I want you to keep in mind two things that are fundamental, not just here in the U.S., but worldwide for the most part, according to the UN. One is the right to confer with your counsel, or to at least have contact on a consistent basis with your counsel, even if you're in jail, to have that right and have that privilege. Otherwise, how do you prepare a defense? The second is the concept of a right to a speedy trial, meaning you're not to sit and languish, let alone in solitary confinement, when you are awaiting trial or awaiting the process to deliver whether or not you are guilty or innocent. So that's what sticks out most to me when I look at this timeline, and it's truly remarkable. But going back to October 2015, when Mr. Kanu was arrested and detained for over a year, you don't see anything about a trial or a finding of guilty there, right? You just see that he was detained for a year with no outcome. Well, I guess he made bail in April of 2017 and was released, only to be have his home invaded, has been said, in a government failed assassination attempt. So then the process was to kidnap him and torture him for 8 days and then hand him over to the Nigerian government. So here we are, some sort of accusations starting in October of 15, and then we're in June of 2021, 6 years later, without any finding of innocence or guilt, and this is still ongoing. January of 2022, he actually gets a trial, and the Nigerian army was found guilty of the failed assassination attempt in violation of his rights. Now, we've heard in past gatherings from lead counsel for Mr. Kanu that there are occasions where he would fly all the way from the U.S. and not be allowed to meet with Mr. Kanu to prepare a defense. So he would be told to wait and wait and wait and still not receive contact with Mr. Kanu, his client, okay, to prepare a defense to the proceedings and to the charges at hand, which is just absolutely nightmarish and outlandishly unfair and outlandishly a violation of human rights. We start preparing civil cases in the construction world that have just money on the line years in advance. Yet here's Mr. Kanu rotting in a cell, not allowed contact with his counsel to prepare for charges that could lead to any number of findings, including, I'm sure, ultimate confinement. July of 2022, the United Nations issues a unanimous decision calling for the immediate and unconditional release of Mr. Kanu. Was that honored? Absolutely not. He remained in solitary confinement. And then in October of 2022, that finding is upheld by the Federal Appeals Court in Abuja, Nigeria, and Mr. Kanu was acquitted of all charges. And that appeals court demanded his immediate release from the detention. It gets to the Nigerian Supreme Court. Now we're a year later, and if you've ever been in litigation in a civil context, your cases always get put behind the criminal cases because of the right to a speedy trial. Well, here we have decisions from courts lasting, taking over a year to determine, whether or not this appellate court was going to be upheld. So the Nigerian Supreme Court, over 14 months later, upholds all dismissals. All charges are gone except for one, a terrorism charge. And that's what remains for Mr. Kanu, is a single terrorism charge, and he remains in solitary confinement. I believe a hearing is set for Monday. Will he be allowed to confer with counsel? Will he be allowed to actually have the right of preparing a defense with his counsel? Probably not. What's next? What are they going to do next?
Mazi Kanu has been likened to Mandela. Alexei Navalny likened to Mandela. The difference is Alexei is gone. And if we do not do anything,
yes, as we keep on,
definitely will be the.
As we keep on giving you updates, the argument is ongoing now. So, and we are expecting that after that, the reports and whatever that have transpired there is going to be made public. But this ongoing argument is ongoing now between our legal team and they're right there inside the court in Federal High Court of Abuja.
Faith of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which is what the government wants, and which we will not stand to see happen. So as we gather tonight, I just want us to think about who in the government that we know, meaning the United States government, to be able to speak up on behalf of this powerful voice that is being silenced by the Nigerian government. Because only us can speak. Unfortunately, he cannot speak for himself. The trial is set for the 26th of February, which is just Monday. So we need to do something quick. We need to send a strong message to the Nigerian government that we will continue to demand Mazi's unconditional and immediate release from the dungeon. Nigeria is a country that poses to be a democracy. But as you can see, very far from being a democratic country. Mazi spoke up, that was his crime, and his punishment is actually being sentenced to death. So those of us that are members of the Ambassador for Self-Determination, our goal is continue to champion the release of the likes of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, wherever they may be around the world. I think we've walked the halls of Congress, and we need more voices to rise with us, which I believe is going to make a strong difference. We want you to reach out to your representative, your senator, your congressman, and share the story of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We need to send that voice collectively and even individually, however way we do it, to the Nigerian government before this important trial. I think at this point, Ben, if you don't have anything else, I think we'll just open it up for Q&A. If you have any questions, you can fire away and we can basically try to answer those questions for you.
The question is there anyone else like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is currently being detained in Nigeria? And the answer is affirmatively, yes. There are many. There are many young men and women that were following him that are in different prisons in Nigeria today, not even being heard. Some of them are sick, some of them are dying. So there are thousands of people like Mazi Umeh that is languishing in prison, but Mazi Umeh happens to be the face of the collective injustice against our people. I thank Attorney Jesse for just going down and listing the chronology of events, but today I started to think about this thing, breaking down the days from the time United Nations gave the judgment ordering Nigeria to immediately release Mazi Umeh unconditionally, and the perpetrators be tried. That is a whopping 580 days. Not from the time he was kidnapped, from the time the United Nations looked at the case, over 9 months of study, of investigation, and came out with a unanimous decision that this man should be released. A United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention is made up of 5-member nations. It was a unanimous decision in Netherlands. So we are law-abiding people. People are saying, well, they have your leader in a prison, and what are you doing? You're going home to sleep. We're going to follow the law, and we follow the law. So United Nations has spoken on July of 2022. The Nigerian Appeal Court, their own court, spoke October 13 of the same year. As a matter of fact, their judgment went further to say that this man cannot and should not be tried in any court in Nigeria. Why? Because he was kidnapped. You can't go around the whole world kidnapping your dissidents and dragging them back to Nigeria and putting them in prison. The rule of law does not work that way. Even the Nigerian Constitution forbids such acts. But you're dealing with people that have total disregard for their own law because they have the gun and bullet. And they have a way of instituting enforced disappearance of any opposition. Abia State High Court looked at this case in January of 22, like Jesse said, and as a matter of fact, demanded that Nigeria would send Mazi Umeh back to Britain because he was traveling with a British passport in his pocket as a British citizen, and ordered the government to pay him the sum of 25 billion naira for violating his fundamental human right, and apologize to him, where they haven't done anything. Nothing. They have not apologized. They are not releasing him, even when the appeal court said that they should do so. So how do you describe Nigeria? How do you stand up to say that you're proud to be a citizen of this country? I'm not. And Evans and I and several other people were walking the halls of Congress, both houses, the House of Senate and the House of Rep, educating the lawmakers in this country till every one of them are fully aware of the injustice that is happening to our people. Whether they do so collectively or individually, it doesn't matter. We are going to continue the effort until Mazi Umeh is released. You cannot go to Sambisa Forest and fish out every criminal, Fulani criminal, from the forest and then put them in some camp. And after 3 weeks, they usher them out and give them a white shirt and present them to the country as repentant terrorists. Have you ever heard of such thing? They say they've repented. They put them in the army, gave them AK-47, gave them a uniform, and sent them to the eastern region of Nigeria to kill the Biafran people. And these are the things that every human being should be alarmed. That's why we are appealing to you. Those that are here, your friends, your associates, whomever you know that is in the government, this injustice must go far and wide until justice is done. And we are not going to relent. We are going back to the Capitol Hill. We've been there. We're going to continue to go there until somebody stands up to tell Nigeria that enough is enough.
Are there any Nigerian congressmen? Natives? No. Okay. And so is there a way?
Yeah, welcome back, Lawman. Please, can you take the stage, please? Welcome back, Lawman. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, very well. Good afternoon, Mazi Umeh and our people. A lot of things are ongoing in the courtroom, arguments and counter-arguments. And apparently, the presiding justice, Binta Nyako, is not giving listening ear to the bail application in total. And they are shying away from it, apparently, from what they are rolling out, from what she is, saying here. But the defense team, courtesy of Aloy Ejimako Esquire, is questioning for the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to be released from DSS custody. And the point of affidavit is that the rooms are bugged. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no privacy. Even when the visiting periods comes up, visiting days comes up, and the defense team wants to, pay a sort of visit to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it appears that the visiting rooms are bugged. What I mean by that, cameras and CCTV, everything is just tantamount to being in chains. And it's just like a replica of what we have. Is akin to, setting up a dog, and the dog would be going around but still in chains. Makes no sense, which is one of the affidavits in that application, that the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, should be freed from the DSS custody and granted bail, or even, to be exited from the walls, out of the walls of the DSS, which has been a sort of, high-class underground. So that's what is going on in court. The polity is heated, the atmosphere is heated, and let's see how it goes. Two things are involved, and one must happen. And we are hopeful that the one that would happen would transpire in our favor. So that is the situation report now, that Onyendu should be released from the DSS custody, which has not been allowing them time to talk about private matters, which has not been allowing them time to discuss or to having a pre-trial conference. So that is the situation report, and the justice, the presiding justice, has yet to, give a final say on that. So let's keep our fingers crossed to knowing what would become of this very case.
Thank you, Mazilaw, for that update. And as we stay tuned, waiting and keep on, we have to hope that everything is going to turn around to us. Regardless of what they are doing, we all understood what is going on there is political. Our leader has got committed no crime. But like I said, I played the video of Ejimako for his first interview with BBC Pidgin, and he made it abundantly clear. Onyendu cannot is a standing trial with trial because crime has committed. But like we all are following their own kangaroo proceedings, we cannot say no to it. But let's see how it plays out. The whole world is watching. Like you said, Mazi, thank you very much for this very wonderful update. And this is still Biafra Radio. Stay tuned and continue to watch the documentary that I've just put on as we continue to hope that things is going to turn around in our favor. Diligently, we are humbly asking them to do the right thing. Like our leader said, in this very documentary, the Action Onyendu, Irulat or War, telling you that truth is more potent than the bullet itself. So this is where the charge, this is the pattern the choice we have chosen, the way to go about our own freedom. Different from what has happened before us, she's 70, we choose a different pattern. And we believe that things are going to work out regardless how long they're going to hold on. Mandela spent 27 years. I keep on referencing him. So we shall not give up now. All these things he's tried to deter our leader, but as you can see, there is no sign of, deterred on him. As you can see, the picture of him arriving in court today tells you all you need to know. And like I said, thank you, Mazi Law, for giving us this wonderful report. And as we go forward and continue to listen to the documentary, thank you and stay tuned.
With respect to Navalny, with that situation, his wife and daughter met with Biden today. As I understood, this is I'm walking through the room. So sometimes politicians want to find a worthy cause to identify with that, I just hate to say it, makes them look good. So somebody, if they can take a pill and understand what y'all have just presented, should be upset, disturbed. So you need someone, at least advocate, with serious authority and a following that would pay attention. I don't know who that would be, but it's just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good thought, and we are certainly working on that, and we have somebody that is getting close to being able to do that. And perhaps what happened may be the thing that pushes him over.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there, and one last question, what's the benefit to other countries, either in Africa or here, not to stand up? Everybody's worried about human rights violations. We don't do a thing about all the Chinese human violations against the Uyghurs or whoever it is, because it's business. So in this country, if we stood up and Nigeria got mad about us standing up for this man, what do we lose? What does a politician think we lose?
I mean, I think that as we are walking the halls of the Congress, it became apparent to us that what's in it for me and what's in it for us is what you have to deal with. So we are slowly educating people because Nigeria does have a lot of oil, and with what's happening in the current world, most people will think, let's not rock the equilibrium because it might mess up the supplies. So we have to really educate people to realize that if indeed the voices like Mazi comes out, Mazi is going to begin to advocate for democracy, and having a real democracy in the Nigerian region is a good thing for America.
botụrụla usi asọ kata eze anya eburu kata n'isi gwa ya oge ahụ eruola mgbe anyị ga-ejipụta n'igwe wee wenara ihe ahụ nke ruru anyị ọ pụtara na anyị nwa anyị we need our son. Bring out our son. Bịa nụrụla anyị Chukwu okike abịa ekwukwela ka ihere ma bịa nụrụla anyị nna m bịa nụrụla anyị bịa nụrụla anyị biko nụrụ akwa anyị o nweghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu o nweghị mgbe ike
nwere ibu nke anyị nọ n'ote ga ọ dị njọ n'ụwa na-emesịa n'ụwa na-emesịa na ọ ga-adị mma nụ ọkwe mana Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu nụ ndị n'igwe bụ aka na-ekwu okwu icheta ife melu n'oge gara aga mgbe a nụrụ Naijiria bịabụla wọ bajidelu ndị be anyị nụ wee sụọ ndị be anyị ka akwụ n'ọkwa nne n'ụwa eziokwu na alili na-egbu mụnụ nga ekwuzi one ya libi ya nụ obi n'igwe ka na-ekwu okwu nụ mmeli na bụ nke anyị sumudu alele onye na-ebe ibe kata ibedebe etela ugbo etela ose ya emesikwa na ọ ga-adị mma maka na mụ ma na ikuku bugharịsị ọdụ igwu ọ ga-akwụbi ofu ebe sumudu Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu obi n'igwe na-amụ anya n'aka.
Yeah, this is still Biafra Radio as it's getting heated in the court, and our leader is round like a lion that he is, fearless before our enemy. We're going to give you the update, but thank God that we get a glimpse of our leader's voice, which is fantastic. And we are waiting for our legal team. As soon as they round up, we're going to get up there directly from them, as we are now getting a piece of feed outside. But as you all can see, that our leader is still standing on his ground, and the presiding judge is still playing on the card of the zoo. But it is quite very, very, disheartening that they're still playing this card game, which is going to haunt them. What they want our land to be desolate. That's all they're looking for. When they committed no crime, Mazi Umeh cannot be in solitary confinement for 3 years. How you want to start commencing the so-called substantive trial of which crime? Well, you want to ask question, huh? And our leader is saying that he is not. They want to put him on house arrest. And this is what Soludo solicited for. Soludo solicited for this. Yeah? He solicited for this. I'm going to bring our man on the ground inside to give us a bit of perspective. Yeah, Maz, please take the stage, please.
Yeah, very well, Mazi, George Umeh, once again. We here in court. The judge has taken another turn. The judge has taken another route entirely, and we are looking at them anyway. They are just looking at moving round and round without any direction, scalaring around without magnitude, without direction. Now, the situation report is that the presiding judge has given cold shoulders to the bail application. And in the affidavit, as I did put forward before now, it says one of the essence of filing for that bail application is not granting the defendant, Mazi Umeh, privacy, time to meet with their lawyers, time to hold pre-trial conferences, so and so. And the second alternative, the second option, not to be transferred to, a place aside the DSS custody, which the alternative includes the Kuje prison. But the judge retorted that she would not do that. And Mazi Umeh himself roared. You know how he does speak, that he would not have himself back to that very place, back to the four walls of DSS. Instead, he would prefer, being under house arrest somewhere in Gwagwalada or somewhere in Kubwa. Even if they would want him not to step an inch in one quarters like that, or in any apartment they would provide, he would, adhere to that other than going back to the DSS custody. Now, rationally, it has a perspection. It means one thing, that the DSS headquarters is a place of trauma. You can imagine where you are seemingly not in chains, but you are bound by, what is beyond the physical chains. Mazi Umeh laid an outcry that he would prefer not to, going back to the very quarters he came from or he has been since 3+ years, So the prosecution, on the other hand, has given their stance. Although I see not readiness, I'm not seeing any readiness to commence trial. Tomorrow is a substantive trial commencement. Let's see how it goes. Mazi Umeh is calm, and in spite of his deteriorating health status, he is calm and he is determined. And I also want to put this notice to the whole world that never, never, never has there been a time Mazi Umeh absconded from this very trial. The records are there. Mazi Umeh has been the one pursuing the case in the stand of defending the case. There are two different things when one is the plaintiff or when one is the prosecution. They are the ones that should be dragging the case, that should be, concerned about pursuing the case. The defendant's, concern is just to appear and defend, as the name implies. But Mazi Umeh is the one, making readiness to be present in the matter. Some time ago, he affirmed that he wouldn't mind appearing in Abuja with 2 million supporters, despite everything, happening. So what am I trying to say? They are rounding off now to give up a conclusion, to give up a ruling in that regard. So let me just rescind. Let me hibernate for some time. I will come back again to giving us the conclusion for today, and also await the media conference courtesy of our lawyers. Thank you very much, Mazi Umeh, for now.
Thank you, Mazi Lawman. That is on point, and we are waiting now. Could see here the proceedings and all of that, but let's just wait and see. Just see news flying around that Onion has been denied bail. I just saw that. I think Punch or whatnot. I don't know where they're getting that from.
Yeah,
but
that's it. That's it. He was giving cold shoulders to the bell. That's the point. And the second option, the alternative being transferred from the custody, is also not being, heeded to. The Justice Bintanyako doesn't want to adhere to that as well, So they are trying to come up with something. So let's give in and see how it goes. We will come back.
Okay, I think the best thing is just to hold on and see. Are we going to have a press conference, right, with the Lego team, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, then I'll just wait. All right, thank you. It is what it is, but we are not backing down. They will run around at the end of the day, like Onyenda is saying that he defeated them in their own court. The treasonable felony is nowhere to be found. So all the concocted charges, the fact is, man, that Mazi Umeh cannot face charges, we know, because the same judge presiding this case knew what happened on the 14th of September 2017 on the same court when he granted Onyendu bail. Now, stringent bail, Onyendu was enjoying his bail, and he was about to come to Abuja, which he told Dead Buhari that is coming with 200 men. What happened next? They rolled their armories to Afaruku Ibek and murdered 38 men, including Jack. This is a historically, event that Onyendu, they want to kill Mazi Umeh, and he survived that assassin. Now, Binta Yaku, they hold her under. Buhari is dead now. Buhari government is gone, but I don't know what she's still scared of about issues concerning her husband, the corruption. But the fact remains, she has not even have any stand to try Mazi Umeh, because first of all, like Ejimako said from the beginning, I think I'm going to put that bit up again. and waiting for them to come, because it's very, very important that this video will reverse you to where we are today. They have got no case against Onyendu. And that's bringing me that I'm going to play this video again as we're waiting for their press conference. It's very, very important that Biafrans pay close attention. I know some of you have, partially watching the proceeding, which we had Onyendu's voice, which is very, and we adore those that are doing this marvelous work. As you know how the zoo is, they wouldn't be getting information. No media is allowed in there, but we are giving you information, but we managed to be able to disseminate it through the other way around. But we are going to have a press conference from those that on the ground and some of our legal teams that is there. But regardless what has happened today, doesn't deter anybody. And the most important thing is that Mazi Umeh is still standing strong, questioning the legality of them keeping him in the SS dungeon. Because when he commencing the substantial trials without him having his fundamental rights, a state of mind, you can't try someone who is being under duress. Doesn't happen anywhere. Even those that are on death rows, they make their life comfortable because they know they're going to die. They have to allow them to have their wishes before to the last day of their life. That is how it works in the real world. But this is the playing on the gallery, and it is very, very important because the Nigerian government that are now Jagaban inherited from Buhari's same APC government, they're playing the same card, and the world is watching. And we continue. We are not backing down on this. As long as Mazi Umeh can remain as he is now, today is going to, because that particular voice, we're going to replay it, where Onyendu's voice was very clear. But some of them said Onyendu was this, was that. It is same Mazi Umeh can never change. It is never changed, because if he changed, it won't be there. And everybody can see, because all they're trying to break him is not going to happen. Let me play Ejimako's interview again from BBC. As we were waiting for them. And is there anything from the man on the ground, then I will bring him in. Very, very important.
Thank you for your time with us today.
It's my pleasure having you.
Make I just start by asking this question. You don't see Nnamdi Kanu?
Yes, I met him yesterday for almost 3 hours at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. And we had quite an interaction, private interaction initially, and later on he was interviewed by 3 DSS officers in my presence. I wanted to call it an interrogation, but they said no, it's an interview, during which they asked him routine questions, but most of the questions centered on his being the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and the activities of that organization. So he answered the questions in a relaxed atmosphere, with bearing in mind his constitutional rights not to incriminate himself. Of course, some of the questions had background information that he considered incomplete, and he told the officers that he was not able to answer some of those questions because the information that they supplied to him was incomplete.
If you describe to us when you see Nnamdi Kanu, how he be, what's his in state of mind?
Well, his state of mind wasn't as sound as it should be. If you listen to his broadcast, you would know that he's a historian. But when I was talking with him, he had trouble recalling the actual date he was abducted. It surprised me. So to jog his memory, I asked him how many nights he spent in Abuja before he was brought to court. He told me 2 nights. So he was brought to court on Tuesday, the 29th June. So we figured he must have been brought into the country on Sunday, the 27th. So when I mentioned that date, he said, sure, that's the date. But I took particular note of that. I also noticed that he had a visible injury on his right wrist. I asked him what it was, where they had chained him, put the chain on him, and chained him to the concrete floor in Nairobi, Kenya. And he has disappearing injury on the left wrist and an injury right here at the nape of the neck. He appears like somebody who has been mentally traumatized. So he's unwilling to talk about one or 2 things until you prompt him. Like when I prompted him about the date, that's the conclusion I drew. How many nights he spent in Abuja.
Is he afraid?
No, he's not. He's traumatized.
If you tell us more about what's happened, because you talk about, you just mentioned Kenya, and Kenyan government don't come out to talk, say, they no arrest in Kanu for Kenya. So tell us more about this.
What happened is this. Mazi Umeh entered Kenya, I believe, on a certain date, right around April this year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to establish the actual date of entry. But I have documentation from a Kenyan hospital that placed him in Kenya as of 14th April this year, 14th May. So he entered Kenya.
And what did they do for Kenya hospital?
He went there because he had issues with his heart. He felt he wasn't well. So he went there, he was examined, and the diagnosis was hypertension and heart murmur. They made prescriptions for him, and my examination of the medical report indicated medications for heart and controlling blood pressure. So apparently he entered Kenya before the 14th May this year. So he had settled in at a location in Nairobi, a temporary location, and he entered with his passport. That day, on the fateful day, that was on the, I believe on the 19th, yes, not believe, certain, 100%. He drove himself to the airport from his temporary location in Kenya. He drove to Jomo Kenyatta International and went into the garage, the underground garage, to pick up a visitor flying in from outside. Okay, that is not necessary for this discussion, the identity or whatever. So the moment he got into the parking lot, the garage, a group of several men well armed to the teeth.
And this now waiting Nnamdi Kanu tell you about what you remember of what happened before they bring him to Nigeria.
This is what he told me, and his recollection of this was very, very lucid and clear.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so now they swooped on him. They gathered and grabbed him, okay, in a very physical, rough way, and he raised the lamp. Luckily for him, there were a few people that were there, and the people wanted to intervene in terms of really very aggressive intervention, because to them, I asked him why they would consider making an aggressive intervention when something that seemed law enforcement was happening. He said perhaps they didn't believe it was normal. So the people that were abducting him told everybody to stay clear, that this person you're looking at is a Nigerian terrorist who assists the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. They grabbed him, put him in their car, and left, and took him to a private residence, not an official detention facility, where they chained him to the floor for most of the 8 days he spent there, and they really tortured him, thinking he was Al-Shabaab. So he kept telling them he wasn't Al-Shabaab. He had nothing to do with Al-Shabaab. He kept telling them who he was.
Who be these people?
Well, I asked him who they are. He told me they are Kenyan security officials. I asked him why. He said the insignia, the carriage, that he had arrived Kenya, so he had a bit knowledge of the terrain and how the law enforcement functions and the sort of things they wear, how, you know, that they were brazen with weapons openly. It couldn't have been private parties or, you know, some rogue agents doing that. He told me that the thing has a 100% degree of officialdom to it. So they took him to that location, and they were torturing him, and I'm sorry to say they really beat him a lot. So, but at some point when he was trying to explain himself, he told me he was blindfolded most of the time, chained to the floor, bare floor.
But the Kenyan government don't clearly talk, say they don't get hand for this, and they no arrest Nnamdi Kanu for the ground. And also the federal government never come out to talk anything about where your client, where they arrest your client from.
Okay. You see, it's not going to be a question of he said, she said. I'm a lawyer. I operate on the basis of independent and credible evidence. The Kenyan High Commissioner might have sounded credible to the general public, but information available to me can impeach every single word she uttered, including the denial that came from the home government. I have immigration stamp placing Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya just 2 months before his abduction. I have medical evidence placing him at a Kenyan hospital. Okay? And I have his own word. He's a man of sound mind.
And what's in your client, Nnamdi Kanu, tell you about how they move him from Kenya, as you talk, say, tell you, to Nigeria?
Yes. You see, he said on the fateful day, that was the 27th on Sunday, 27th June, they drove him in a car to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, blindfolded him, and bundled him inside a private jet, like a Learjet. I asked him if it's a Boeing 777, so whatever, or Airbus, the big ships. He said, no, it's a normal private jet that you often would see some people owning private jet, that kind of size. And he was the lone passenger in that jet, in that plane, and he didn't clear immigration. They drove him straight, on the tarmac, straight to the plane and very close to the plane, and put him inside the plane with Nigerian security officials, and left about 12 noon in the afternoon, and landed Nigeria same day in the evening, around something after 4 or to 5.
Make we talk about the trial where go begin again on the 26th of July. Yes. How prepared Unadi for that trial?
Well, we are, but there's not going to be any trial. There's going to be trial within trial. What happened to Nnamdi Kanu is, by legal definition, worldwide legal definition, what is called extraordinary rendition. It's a state crime. It's a crime by the state. If a private individual abducts or violently and illegally seizes another individual, it's called kidnapping, and is in some jurisdictions, is a capital offense. When state does it, it's called extraordinary rendition. That's what happened. So if you rendered or you renditioned a fugitive or a suspect, you have lost jurisdiction to try that suspect because he committed an international crime. You broke your own laws. You broke the laws of the third state from which territory you renditioned that individual. And you broke the laws of the second state of nationality of that individual. That is what is playing out here. Because we have 3 divergent but also compliant jurisdictions. The 3 jurisdictions here, Nigeria, Kenya, and UK, their laws prohibit extraordinary rendition.
Okay, so they've been, calls don't come from different quarters, from different groups, say the federal government must handle this case on the fair note, that the trial must happen, Nnamdi Kanu trial must happen on the fair note. Does this make you optimistic?
Fair trial?
That Nnamdi Kanu must have a fair trial?
You see, there is it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction to say that a jurisdiction that broke the laws of 3 countries and the international law, that's the 4th component, to bring a suspect before that jurisdiction should be expected to give fair trial to such individual. But like I said, we haven't even gotten to that bridge yet. When we get to the bridge of whether he's going to get fair trial or not, we are going to ventilate it. The bridge we have to cross first is the bridge of testing the impact of the jurisdiction of Nigeria to try Nnamdi Kanu for any criminal offenses stemming from the extraordinary rendition.
Across various countries of the world. So, and I sent in my complaint from Nigeria. After looking at my complaint and what I have, so they decided to invite me and also asked me to come and present a paper from Nigerian side. I forwarded my 32 pages of submissions as it has to do with human rights in Nigeria, and we started. The conference is taking place in 4 selected countries of Europe. That's in France, in Germany here, Belgium, and Sweden. So we started on the 26th. We are done with Paris, France. I came in here a couple of days ago in Germany. So we are rounding off in Germany at Bonn University. We are rounding off this afternoon. Then we now move to Belgium. From Belgium, we now move to Sweden. then and we round it up in there in Sweden. So we are making a progress. According to, just like as I told you in my 32 pages paper, which has to do with critical insights affecting human rights in Nigeria, ranging from intimidation of voters during election, involvement of security agencies in rigging election, and the general and electoral fraud generally, and the president appointment marginalizing other region and his appointments which contravenes various provisions of our laws, and among all the corruption and the looting of public funds by majority of our political leaders and politicians, and absence of rule of law, and inability of the president to govern the country in line with the law. So these are the issues, and disobedience of court order, unlawful detention. Just like as I told you the other day, I have court orders, court judgment against the DSSS, asking them to release my clients. We served them all these orders since since last year up to now. The DSSS refused to comply. My clients are all in their detention. So these are the issues that we presented, and order that it should be released. They now refer the matter back to Federal High Court to start trial again and to start application for bail again. I have never seen this kind. They have turned Nigerian jurisprudence upside down. Now we are in court. We have made application for bail. They have given it on the 19th to rule on it. So that one is on that. Then on the issue of Ohanese, they are not doing anything. No. If they tell you that they are doing anything, that thing they are doing, they will call it window dressing. I that the more you look, the less you see, so that it will be as if they are talking. If Ohanese is talking, Ohanese is the senators from Southeast are under what do you call it? Are under Ohanese. The governors in the Southeast are under Ohanese. So now you begin to ask yourself, what have these people done? Because upon your inauguration, you're supposed to go, both of you in the Senate, political leaders, religious leaders, and they said, you can't meet Tinubu. Say, my brother, please, we are talking about security in the Southeast. Can we release this guy? This one is causing trouble. He said that it's for Nandekalo. This one is ordering for a sit at home. He said that it's for Nandekalo. This one, why not releasing Nandekalo to address all these issues? What has Nandekalo, what offense has Nandekalo committed?
All right.
Somebody that exercising his rights of for self-determination, asking you that since you said that I don't belong to Nigeria by your conduct, allow me to go. Instead of it to address all those issues, now you started attacking the innocent, intelligent, handsome.
All right, so we'll come back to
it doesn't work like that.
Okay, a point made on that. So let's go back to why you are outside the country now, and what outcomes are you expecting from these your meetings, and how implementable would they be?
Well, I'm the only one. Every other, just like you said, every other country with their own peculiar problem, which is normal. But our own is on the high side. Because when I begin to marshal out our own, ranging from disobedience of court orders, ranging from unlawful detention and arrest, ranging from inability of government to comply with the law. The law said before you say Maxwell, this is what you will do. You decided to go and say Maxwell without following the law. They discovered that our own, they don't even know where to start. So at the end of all these issues now, there will be a communique. I hear them saying, which they will, there are some things that I will not say on air. The way they implement it, I won't say it on air. But at least it will go a long way of letting our leaders to know that whatever thing that you are doing, you are being monitored. Whatever thing that you are doing, your children are in Europe, your children are in Asia, your children are in America. So you cannot destroy University of Lagos, University of Nigeria, University of Port Harcourt, University of Calabar, and you are ABU Zaria. Now you now send their own children here in Germany, there in America, there in Asia, thinking that they are safe. They are not safe. Because when they begin to know all the people that committed this thing, where are their children? I have started asking questions. In fact, I was even surprised that Sunday when they begin to mention the leaders and where their children are. Here their children are schooling. Here in Europe. You discover that these people are not laughing, for Christ's sake. So the earlier they get it right, the better. So let them stop attacking.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm going to get our man on the ground, but I don't think he's not on the studio. So just give me a minute. Let's join.
Mothers, where is our son?
Yeah, Maz, yeah. Hello, man, go ahead.
Kanya na mkoda kanya na kanya zeze kanya ozieze bu okunya kwuru kanya se bukwuo Nnamdi ndị lọ ya kwuru ọfụma kwuo na ibe ọnọ na ndị onye na-achị achị kwuru kanya abụlọ ya na-eje mitie ka ọ kọwalịba ka eje mewa aga o nwere ohere ndị lọ ya nwere ohere mba ebe ahụ and ndị lọ ya nwezi ohere mba n'ibe na-ekwu okwu o nwere ibe o nwere ike mkpe nne ndị lọya na-ekwuzi ka ebuje na prison ka a na-akpọ Kuje prison nwaanyị asị na nya ọ bụrụ na kọt ekọ mana nye ekwuru ụdị ahụ oge ọ na-ekwu anyị machara so onye ọbụla nwee nchekwu onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere na ibe bụ oge nke Chineke elugo na Chineke emeliwa bụ Chineke maka anyị anyị niile bụ ka anyị na ya ochekwu Chineke ka uche mmadụ ghara mmeni ka ọ bụrụ uche ya bụ Chukwu eji eme na Chukwu abụrụ mma nọ mmụọ ka ọ bụ ya na uche ya eme ihe a na-ayọ bụ ka anyị bụ ndị Igbo ibe dị na mmenne ka ọ n'ibe ka ọ na-akụziri anyị na anyị nwe obodo onwe anyị nọdụ na mma obodo nwa nọdụ mma ọ bụ na anyị nọzụ obodo ama nọ mma onye ọbụla mara amalị n'obodo niile dị n'ụwa ibe onye Igbo na-anọrọ ilu ebe agbapụ n'onye Igbo kere ya akọwalị ụlọ ndị anyị nọ bebe ma ndị ọzọ ụlọ nwaone dị n'ala Igbo ma ndị Igbo lụrụ ebe niile ọ bụ n'anya ndị ọganihu ka ọ na mma ka ọ dị mma ndị onye Igbo ibe ọbụla ọ nọ ọya bụele mmadụ ebe ahụ okwu ọnụ Cheke ọ bụrụ okwu ọnụ mmadụ ya na adịla anyị mma na Eke adịla anyị n'Oye adịla anyị na Abụ adịla anyị na Nkwọ na Abachukwu Oke ezigbo
Just getting live interviews.
That was the voice of Eze Chukwuemeka, the 34th Akaji of Igbo. He was here the last time. Yeah, Ezenri, he was here the last time. He's here again. He has been here, in support, in solidarity with our leader, not excluding a host of other traditional rulers, some of whom are going to talk to our people. To be honest, we are displeased, but we would not act weakness. We would not play weakness in the face of enemies. Instead, we will go back to the drawing board and re-strategize. So thank you for being with us, our people. So we shall come back here again to.
Yeah, I just lost him. I think he's going to reconnect. We all know the epileptic network down there in the Zoological Republic. But I know he's going to rejoin us for them to give us their perspective, those that have witnessed what transpired in the court. Previously, as a Chukwuemeka of Ezenri spoke gallantly so. Like I said, we know all these things from the beginning, but let them continue playing with their script. Our job is to keep our eye to the ball because our leader, Mazi Umeh, freedom is not given, it's taken. So there's a price you have to pay. There's a price you must pay. Freedom comes with a very heavy price. And that is what we are doing right now. So that's what we are doing now. So we must continue. Yeah, we must continue. So as we are waiting for them to join us again, okay, I think I've just rejoined. So I need to bring them back in. We all know the epileptic network we have down there in the zoo. So they just reconnect.
Vehemently she refused. Then Barrister Lloyd Mark had to make an oral application for him to be moved to safety. And hopefully within the week that application will be listened to. So up until that happens, we'll know what will be the next step to be taken. So but by 17th of next month, the trial will commence, so they said. But Onyendu is more than capable, because there is nothing there
There is nothing like trial
that he cannot defend. But then there is no way he can stand trial without finding himself in a very conducive environment.
What is his crime?
So that is the position for now.
What is the spirit of Mazi
Of course, always
Umeh?
very high. Of course, always very high. Of course, always very high. He's without fear. He has made that clear. The reason why he's in detention is for the good of our people. That anybody involved in criminality, he said it there in court, that person will not go scot-free.
Yes.
He made that clear to everybody. So people should take note. It's no longer business as usual. We're here. There's no going back. It's a price that we all have paid. My parents have also paid the same price. So there's no going back. So for those who have been accusing us of doing one thing or the other, I pray that God helps them. Several and numerously, we've said it. Our hands are clean. Our hands are clean. None of us, especially the Kano's family, will ever get themselves involved in anything dirty to ruin this struggle. We're not trained that way. We came from a very decent home. And that is why we've sustained this struggle up until this moment.
Exactly.
And we'll continue to do so. We will not derail. We will not look at anybody. So long as we maintain what we want, particularly justice, equity, and fairness. That's all it is. That's what Mazi Umeh represents. Thank you.
Thank you. Very strong.
Yeah, that's Meme speaking down there, Biafrans. And they made it abundantly clear as to those accusing Kano family, and I've seen it over time.
I am going to champion So
as they're preparing to come on, and Prince Meme have just spoken to Biafrans and the position of our leaders and Kano's family, those perpetrating crime in Biafra land. Take note, it's not going to be as business as usual, because we can hear Onyendu's voice. I've got that particular proceeding, which I'm going to play subsequently to us to listen to where Onyen, I think I'm just going to cut out where our leader spoke. It's about 37 minutes, and we have the whole transcript. And we will let it there to Biafrans as I'm waiting for them to continue, those on the ground to give us their perspective of what have transpired today. We have to go through these processes as we come on rounding up this program. We are not deterred, and it shouldn't be bothered of what they have done. Most importantly is that we are here to do one thing, to restore Biafra, just like Meme said. I thank God that word come out of his mouth, because they have lost their two parents. What else can you give this family? I don't know what you want to give them that will supersede their two parents dying because of this cause. That is why people must be very wary and be careful of what comes out of their mouth, because those that started this ill campaign against Ukano family, I want to see how all of you end up. Today, you guys are fighting yourselves, but this is just the beginning. I told you guys. Anyway, we're still waiting for the man on the ground to see what they can give us. So we're waiting.
Biafra babu buru na achọ n'ụbọchị taa. Ebe ka unu dosara Nnamdi Kalu ọ dị ndụ kpọpụtara na anyị anyị chọrọ ime ebe nwa anyị nọ. We want to see our son. Chukwu okike abịa ndị Igbo tụrụ ilu si asọ kata eze anya eburu kata n'isi gwa ya okwu. Oge ahụ eruola mgbe anyị ga-eji pụta n'igwe wee wenara ihe ahụ nke ruru anyị. Ọ pụtara na anyị nwa anyị. We need our son. Bring out our son. Bịa nụrụ olu anyị. Chukwu okike abịa ekwela ka ihere mee anyị. Biafra
Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu. I see miracle coming on the way. No nwere ife gbalụ Jehova ya lee. Chimo Nnamdi na Chukwu na-ekwu okwu. Nnamdi Kanu odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ. Nnamdi Kanu odogwu lechaba ezigbo mmadụ na anyị nọpụ. Odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ. Subudu Nnamdi n'ọbụ ndị Igbo lele ya ele wee nwụrụ iwe nwunye ndị ilo n'aka. Emesịa na ọ ga-adị mmanụ maka na o chetalụ m ife melu n'akwụkwọ nsọ mgbe Josef na-akwanite mgbe ọ na-achị ichi eze ụmụnne ya ejikọtala aka wele ya welesi ya ndị ilo mana Josef mesili wee bụrụ eze. Josef no mesiri bụrụ eze. Nnamdi n'ọbụ ife ga-eme afụlụ m amụma ka ọ na-abịa na mmezu. Cheta tupu ndị lebulu yi amụma niile ibusili ọbịazigo na mmezu. Emezianụ na ọ ga-adị mma. Onye na-ebe akwa bedebe, onye na-erujuru debe maka na afọ m na mmeli na njedebe. Eziokwu na mmeri ga-abịa n'ikpeazụ. Onye na-ebe akwa bedebe, onye na-ebe ekpelebe esibe ike, onye na-eme omenala emesibe ike nu. Eziokwu na ndị Igbo anwago. Without ndị Igbo there is nothing like Nigeria. Ndị Igbo ji ikonomi Nigeria ewo nnenu esikanụ. Ewo alele ka nnebe alili egbuo m nne n'ụwa mụ. Eziokwu na ndị ọcha bịawala anyị azụ. Eziokwu na ndị ọcha mere anyị ibe banyela ya ụka nye ndị ugwu ọchịchị nụ ma tata na anyị na-atụzi alele. Eziokwu na Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu nụ. Emezia na mmeri bụ nke anyị. Chukwu ka na-ekwu. Obi n'igwe na-ekwu. Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu. I see freedom coming. Freedom na-abịa. Mmeri na-abịa. Eziokwu na mmeri na-abịa. Nnamdi Kanu ọchịagha ụmụ Biafra. Odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ. Ọzọ Igbo ndụ. Ezi Igbo gburugburu. Ezeghị na mekeneyi. Ndụ gị ga-adị. Ndụ gị ga-adị. Ezeghị na ị ga-adị ka echi. Aka Chukwu dị n'alụ ya. Onye bụ nwa Chukwu. Onye bụkwa nwa Chineke. Onye bụkwa nwa ọgbụgba ndụ. Odogwu bili. Ezi Igbo gburugburu. Odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ.
Mothers, where is our son? Ndenne, ebe ka nwaanyị nwoke Hamadike Nnamdi Kanu nọ. ya ka ụmụ nwaanyị niile na ala Biafra gbaa gburugburu na-ajụ n'ụbọchị taa, ebee ka unu dosara Nnamdi Okwu Kalụ? Ọ dị ndụ? Kpọpụtara na ya. Anyị chọrọ ime ebe nwaanyị nọ. We want to see our son. Oh, Chukwu okike abịama. Ndị Igbo tụrụ ilu si asọ kata eze anya, eburu kata n'isi gwa ya okwu. Oge ahụ eruola mgbe anyị ga-eji pụta n'Igbo wee wenara ihe ahụ nke ruru anyị. Kpọpụtara na anyị nwa anyị. We need our son. Bring out our son. Bịa nụrụ olu anyị, Chukwu okike abịama. Ekwela ka ihere mee anyị. Bịa nụrụ olu anyị o, nna m bịa nụrụ olu anyị o. Bịa nụrụ olu anyị o, biko nụrụ akwa anyị o. O nweghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. O nweghị mgbe ike onye ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Nna m nụrụ o, chi anyị na-efe nụrụ olu anyị o. Biko nụrụ no, Chukwu okike nụrụ olu anyị o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, ụmụ nwaanyị ebe anyị na-ebe. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Amambara na-eti o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Abia steeti na-ebe. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Enugu steeti na-ekwu. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Imo steeti ebe. Nụrụ olu anyị o, biko nụrụ olu anyị o. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike onye iro ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Nna nụrụ o, Chukwu okike nụrụ olu anyị o. Nna m nụrụ o, chi onye ebere nụrụ olu anyị o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Igwacha na-ebe o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, n'ụwa Benue tie. Nụrụ olu anyị o, ka Delta steeti na-ebe. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Bayelsa tie. O nweghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. O nweghị mgbe ike onye iro ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Nna m nụrụ nụ o, Chukwu okike nụrụ n'olu anyị o. Daddy biko, chi anyị na-efe nụrụ olu anyị o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Edo steeti ebe o. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Akwa Ibom etie. Nụrụ olu anyị o, Cross River na-ebe. Nụrụ olu anyị o, ka Biafra niile na-ekwu. Eze m nụrụ o, Chukwu okike nụrụ olu anyị o. Eze nụrụ o, chi anyị na-efe nụrụ olu anyị o. Hawa ochime, arịrị egbu emo. Hawa ochimu o, icha amanya mmiri. Chukwu okike abịama, akwa gị ka m na-ekpesara o. Afọ mụrụ ọmụmụ o, ya ka m na-eti. Ewu, ekekere ụwa, nụrụ n'olu m o. Onye na-eme mma nụrụ n'akwa o. Chukwu okike abịama, chi kere ihe niile. Akwa gị kere eke, gụnwa kere orie, gụnwa kere afọ, gụnwa kere nkwọ. Anyị niile bụ ụmụ nwaanyị Biafra niile n'ala Igbo niile gbaa gburugburu na-ebe na-eti. Ị ga-ekwe ka ụwa juo anya ọnụ? Ị ga-ekwe ka ike mmadụ karịa gị maọbụ ike gị bụ Chukwu okike abịama? Anyị kwere na gọva gị bụ Chukwu okike abịama ga-edupụtara anyị nwa anyị. Ọnụ hapụ nwa na-adịghị ihe o mere, ụnụ hapụrụ anyị nwa anyị. Biko ụnụ
Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, odogwu ndị mozi na-agbala ọkụ.
Yeah, welcome back, fellow comrades. Yeah, I mean, today is another significant day. The most interesting thing is that we have our leader's voice clear today. I'm just working on the video. One of the videos they interviewed me about almost 4 minutes. We want to disseminate that the 4 cardinal points of IPOB lay to bear. This is for those misguided. I think from tonight, a lot of people need to go back and think. Mazi Umeh can have spoken. There's no two ways about it. Every single one of us now need to pay attention because it is not going to be business as usual, to be honest with everybody. It is very, very important that we pay attention. Very, 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 very important. I want to create this program. I want the man on the ground to give us on spot account. We're supposed to have a press conference, but I don't think it's going to happen for obvious reason. But probably the legal team might come back to tell us what happened. We have the transcript of this particular proceeding, about 36 minutes, which I'm going to publish. It's just a matter of time. But let me just wait for him for another 5 minutes. If not, I will round up because I've got a lot being on behind the same place.
Obìnrin igwe na-ekwu okwu, ọ ka na-ekwu okwu, obìnrin igwe na-ekwuzi okwu ike. Nnamdi Kanu, odogwu bili, eze ndị Igbo gburugburu. Nnamdi Kanu, ọchịagha ụmụ Igbo, odogwu Biafra bili, odogwu ndị mozi na-agbala ọkụ. Eziokwu na-enu wee sikanụ, n'enu ụwa n'osi na chi ya dị mma. Mgbe mbụ ka sị na nweze enwelo nwa, mana tata na nweze enwegokwa nwa. Mgbe mbụ ka sị na Igbo enwela eze, mana tata na anyị bụ Igbo anyị enweghị ezenu. Nnamdi Nnọbụnya bụ eze ndị Igbo. Eziokwu na-enu ụwa ebuka, eziokwu na-enu ụwa siri ikenu, eziokwu na-enu ụwa esikanụ. Ọkwa ịma na onye na-achọ onye aka ya dị ọcha na ọchụgido ya ene n'ụwa chụbịa n'ụwa ọmanụ. O ji be nwata wonye aka ya enu, aka lobe ya ilo n'oge wetu ya n'enu ụwa nụ. Ife Nnamdi na-ekwu n'enu ụwa nụ n'ọbụ ka ọ ga-esi dịrị n'ụmụ Igbo mmanụ. Titi eji wee nwee Naijiria na ndị Igbo n'enu ụwa na pachibelo Naijiria. Ife a na-eme anyị bụ getaway come closer. Onye ọbụla nne n'ụwa na-atụ alele, ili nne n'ụwa bụ ọlụ, onye Igbo iche ọchịchị na ọ bụ ọlụ nụ. Gwa m ife ga-eme nne n'ụwa ka emezie nne n'ụwa wee metụ ụwa mma. N'ọkwa bụ ndị Igbo bụ nsogbu anyị nwelu, na anyị bụ ndị Igbo na anyị na-agbazi onwe anyị mgba. Gwa m ife ga-eme metụ ụwa mma nụ, gwazie m ife ga-eme wee metụ ụwa mma. Nnamdi na o nwere okwu nchọla ịgwa anyị, ichefugo na nweze adefu na mbanụ, n'ọkwa na nweze ka ịbụnụ, maka na ama m n'ọchịchị lụrụ ibe nna ya. Iwere pụ ọchịchị lụrụ ibe nna ya, iwe pụta ka ịzọpụta ụmụ Igbo nụ. Ụmụ Igbo afọ na ị ga-azọpụta fa. Eziokwu na o nwere ife ga-eme gị n'ụwa. Ị ị ga-adị ka echi maka na amam na echi n'ọdị agwagwo ndụ gị ga-adị n'afịa naanị izu na anọ eke n'olie na afọ na nkwọ ka ndụ gị ga-adịnụ onye chụba gị n'ọgada mmiri ọtụ nwa ọkụkọ nne n'ụwa ya nwada nwa ọkụkọ nne n'ụwa nwee ngwongwo nsọ Nnamdị na mmeli bụ nke anyị omemma melu gaba n'ilu ome njọ melu n'ụwa gaba n'ilu agbasa ọsọ n'ụwa na-aga agụlili maịlụ maka na emesịa n'ụwa malụ ndị bụ ndị aka Chukwu na ọ dị gị n'alụ Nwachukwu na mmesịa mmeli bụ nke anyị Nnamdị Kanụ odogwu bili eze ndị Igbo gburugburu Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu ogwelife gbalụ Jehova ya lee eyi Obinigwe na-ekwu okwu ọ ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-ekwuzi okwu ike eyi Nnamdị Kanụ ọchịagha ụmụ Igbo odogwu Biafra bili odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ Sumudu eziokwu na alili na-egbu ụmụnne m na alili na-apịawa mazụ onye Igbo wee gụsị akwụkwọ nụ na inweta ọlụ na Naịjirịa na ọbụzi ọlụnụ na anya pasi lọ ife ọbụla na ịlụ na amị na Naịjirịa na ọbụzi nsogbu ịlụ na polisi bụ ọlụ inye ndị Igbo ọlụ n'ọkwa nsogbu gwa m ibe a ga-eme n'ụwa ka wee metanụ ndị Naịjirịa mmanụ ife anyị nwee ka na-akọla anyị na mmanụ anyị ka Naịjirịa ji dị ebube mineral and resources anyị nwere une n'ụwa n'ọya ka Naịjirịa si wee dị ebube ma ndị nwe ife na-aga ụlọ na-emelụbalụ ndị nwe ife na-aga ụlọ na-apịawa afọ azụ Chukwu ka na-ekwuriri okwunu ndị eluigwe ka na-ekwu okwunu basi na-emesịa na anyị ga-enwe mmelinu na-emesịa na n'ụwa na mmeli bụ nke anyị n'ote ga ka ọ dị njọ n'ụwa na-emesịa na n'ụwa na-emesịa na ọ ga-adị mmanụ ọkwe mana Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwunu ndị n'igwe bụ aka na-ekwu okwunu icheta ife melu n'oge gara aga mgbe a n'ụlọ Naịjirịa Biafra wọ bajidelu ndị be anyị nụ wee sụọ ndị be anyị ka akwụ n'ọkwa nne n'ụwa eziokwu na alili na-egbu mụnụ ngekwuzi one ya libi ya nụ Obinigwe ka na-ekwu okwu nụ mmeli na bụ nke anyị Sumudu alele onye na-ebe ibe kata ibedebe etela ugbo etela ose ya emesikwa na ọ ga-adị mma maka na mụ ma na ikuku bugharịsị ọdụ igwu ọ ga-akwụbi ofu ebe Sumudu Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu Obinigwe na-amụ anya n'aka Chukwu dị n'alụ anyị ụmụ Igbo Chukwu ka na-ekwu okwu asị miracle coming on the way no nwere ife gbalụ Jehova ya lee Chimo Nnamdị na Chukwu na-ekwu okwu Nnamdị Kanụ odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ Nnamdị Kanụ odogwu lechaba ezigbo mmadụ na anyị nọbụ odogwu ndị Mozi na-agbala ọkụ Sumudu Nnamdi n'ọbụ ndị Igbo lere ya ele wee nwụrụ iwe nwunye ndị ilo n'aka. Emesịa na ọ ga-adị mma nụ maka na o chetalụ m ife mmelụ n'akwụkwọ nsọ mgbe Josef na-akwalite mgbe ọ na-achị ichi eze ụmụnne ya jikọtala aka wele ya welesi ya ndị ilo mana Josef mesiri wee bụrụ eze. Josef no mesiri bụrụ eze. Nnamdi n'ọbụ ife ga-eme afụlụ m amụma ka ọ na-abịa na mmezu. Cheta tupu ndị lebulu yi amụma niile ibusili ọbịazigo na mmezu. Emesịa nụ na ọ ga-adị mma. Onye na-ebe akwa bedebe onye na-erujuru debe maka na afọ m na mmeli na njedebe. Eziokwu na mmeri ga-abịa n'ikpeazụ. Onye na-ebe akwa bedebe onye na-ebe ekpele kpesibe ike onye na-eme omenala emesibe ike nụ. Eziokwu na ndị Igbo anwago. Without ndị Igbo there is nothing like Nigeria. Ndị Igbo ji ikonomi Nigeria ewo nnenu osikanụ ewo.
Yeah, just go ahead. You're connecting through the phone. So go ahead, Mazi.
Okay, greetings, Biafrans and lovers of freedom. Today is the 19th day of March. Today had been slated for ruling on in the bail application. The League Counsel Aloy Jimako Esquire argued on the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be granted bail if really the trials should continue. One of which, as I did mention before now, is not being given fair hearing, not being given the freedom of, breach. The visiting room is bugged, the CCTV, so and so. Health condition, one of the reasons in the application, and all that. However, the judge did not, grant the very bail application. Alternatively, the defense team made an oral application that would not see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go back into the DSS custody. So these are the things, a few things that transpired today in court. And it is sad to say that the judge never agreed to that as well. To the extent the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, ruled that the last thing he would consider if really they want to make trial or make progress in the case is for him to return to the walls of the DSS. You can imagine that. So arguments and counter-arguments as usual, but he was denied. I mean, to Kuje prison, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself offered to, to be transferred to the Kuje prison, which is a little bit, provides a sort of relaxation, so to speak.
they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't grant that. He even requested for, being placed under house arrest. He wouldn't mind, provided they ask him to, exit the DSS headquarters, which I believe has been traumatizing him all this while. So that is the events that transpired today. And vehemently, Aloy Jimako argued and tendered an application, oral application, and the judge accepted, but asked the defense team to put it in writing. So they are going to make a formal application now for, a transfer from DSS custody to a safe house, in quote. Safe house in quote. Safe in essence outside of the DSS custody, but not safe in reality. But however, let's put it that way. The point is to make him not go back there, either be under house arrest somewhere or transferred to Kuje prisons. So this oral application would be notarized, would be put formally, and on the 17th of May, the case was adjourned for continuation. And let me just make it clear, tomorrow there would be no business tomorrow in court, because the defense team put it clear that there is no point. The first thing, which is the paramount thing, is to ensure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is given the opportunity to be tried. You cannot build something on nothing. In Latin, we say nemo quod non habeat. Nothing. When you want to build something, you must have something on it. That's why when you want to erect a magnificent edifice, you must have a foundation. So for them to begin trial, there must be a foundation. So that's just the basis of the whole thing. So there will be no business tomorrow. The points here I would want our people to take home is the oral applications are going to be notarized, are going to be put formally, and here that's a motion on the 17th of April. And followingly, the defense team also applied to the federal government, courtesy of the Federal High Court, that they should be, that this very case, this very legal matter is not, in essence, is just a political matter. Okay, so that there should be a sort of settlement, not being paraded, or because all this back and forth is just, Aloy made it clear. All this back and forth is just marking time wasting. They should put it where it should be, because it seems political, So these and many more was tendered orally. It's going to be notarized after now, and further things are going to come up on the 17th of April, according to the court. So that's the summary of what's transpired today. And subsequently, we are going to have a sort of broadcast in the evening hours from the stable of Aloy Jimako Esquire, head of our defense team. So that's the summary, Mazi.
Thank you very much, Mazi, Lawman. And like I would just add to what you just said, if you look at the whole scenario, there's nothing changed. It is political. Because you remember, Soludo offered to Onyendu to be willingly given to him. He shorty to be in State House in Oka. So there is no other house arrest that bigger than that. If we go back to that, you understand what I'm saying tonight, this afternoon. So the good thing is this: at the end of this journey, one thing is going to happen. We're going to let the legal team do their work. But like I said, thank you very much, and for your wonderful work, and every other person that have been there, solidarity with our leader. And as you said, if we're going to reconvene again, you need to let me know, because I have to plan for it. So off the air, please just give me a nudge so I can get myself prepared. Thank you very much, and thank you for your good work. Mazi, there. Thank you. Yes, that was Mazi Lawman on the phone. He couldn't get back to the studio, and we have to get a logical conclusion on this program. So many things has happened today. The tension is high, but the most interesting thing is that Onyendu have spoken. There's a video I just posted in Biafra radio Facebook page, which is going to go into other platforms, courtesy of Favor Meme. Kanu, Meme's wife, she's the one that originally got that video, but we have populated that video now because our leader have made it abundantly clear. Onyendu has spoken. So for those that think Mazi Umeh has not got his 7 senses, take that video and go and listen to it and listen to yourself. And you will see how stupid you are and you look like. Because we told you, Mazi Umeh, the 4 cardinal point of IPOB, that's why we call one family. There is nothing like leadership in IPOB. Without Mazi Umeh, there's no IPOB. Very, very important. I'm going to rest it here. And because it's been marathon for me, and I thank all of you that have took your time to listen. And this is the journey just began. So nobody should mourn or deter. We know exactly what is happening. Before you complain, remember Mandela Madiba, 23, spent 27 years in prison. We want freedom. Freedom is not given, it's taken. And that is the price our leader is paying with his whole household. Onyendu told you that after giving up his 2 parents, he think he will sit down or turn around and collect money. Think about it. And I will leave it here. Thank God that Chukwuka have shown us today. Onyendu have spoken for like 3 minutes, 50-something seconds. It's not about 30 seconds. This is clear. So somebody will say he spoke on the duration. You can see the difference between the previous appearance of Onyendu in court and these 2 sections now that will have a new lead counsel. With all due respect, I want you to pay attention. You could see the difference between the previous appearances of Onyendu and these 2 proceedings that we have had on the 26th of February and on 19th of March. You can see, and you could see within 4 weeks we have they appear in court, and you can see the argument. I'm going to post the video, though you have it on Meme's wife's Facebook, but we're going to populate it and put it properly that people can now listen to it properly. I thank all of you for listening. May Chukwuka and continue to go ahead and protect. Most importantly, safeguard and protect our leader. We know he is a very precarious condition, but he's equal to the task. Okay, we'll give him that 45 and 42 to him to persevere. And thank you for listening from me. For me from here is good afternoon from London.